This time on Low Boost, we're bringing our C5 Corvette track car with the Low Boost Films track weapons cam to the dyno. Special thanks to Round Lake Auto Repair for letting us come in and use their dyno. They work on everything from Supras to Subarus, so make sure you guys check them out. Before we get into numbers, just want to put it out there. This is a Mustang dyno. It can read up to 10% less than a dyno jet, so figure that as you will. I don't care as much about how much power it puts down as opposed to how it puts the power down. I don't want to rev the car all the way out to 7,000 RPM. That's not where I live on the track. 3,500 to 5,500 RPM is really where this car needs to shine, and that's what I want, so I'm hoping for a flat torque curve. I also picked up Mustang dyno because I know someone's going to be in the comments saying, "Oh, your pod only makes that much because it's a dyno jet. If you did it on a Mustang dyno, it'd be less." This is a Mustang dyno, folks. This is as low as it's going to get. Let's get into it. We are going to be testing the Low Boost Films track weapon cam today, but I will break down really quick right now all of the other modifications that our C5 has, just so you guys can be as informed as possible before you make your own buying decisions. In addition to the other supporting mods like lifters, push rods, and dual cone valve springs, I also put LS6 heads that were milled 25 thousandths on here as well, long tube headers, and an X pipe. Intake upgrade, high flow cats that you see here, and it does have an LS6 intake. Prior to actually getting it on the dyno, I did have my buddy Damon, who's my tuner, kind of street tune the car and had it at like 12.2 AFR as well as like 28 degrees of timing. So we're going to do just a baseline pull with that to see what it is, and then he's going to make his adjustments from there based on what he thinks the car needs or likes. I have stock mufflers on this thing, but for tuning and on the dyno, it's cutouts open, baby. Mustang dynos are heartbreaker dynos, and we were expecting like 350 wheel horsepower, but we were pleasantly surprised to see what it made on its first hit, and we had a little bit more room to go. It made 386 horsepower and 376 pound-feet of torque with a really flat torque curve. The AFRs were a little flat in the mid-range, and we think that could be because the catalytic converters aren't warm because it's cold out. Taking a little more fuel out, a little more timing out. At 26 degrees of timing, it made 391 and 378. And as you can see on the bottom there, the AFRs were still a little fat in the mid-range. And I think that's just because we have catalytic converters on and they're not warm. In the real world, it'll probably make a little bit more because the cats will be warm. The final pull, Damon decided to try 24 degrees of timing and pull a little bit more fuel out to have 12.7 target AFR, just to kind of see what would happen. Sometimes these cars like more timing. Maybe this one wants a little bit less because the heads are milled and it's really close to 11:1 compression. I don't know. I know I'm going to have people in the comments saying, "Oh, you could make so much more with the Stage 5 cam and all this stuff," but I want mid-range power from 3,500 to 5,500 RPM, and I want it to last. So most track guys don't want their cam lift to be over 600's lift, and this is under it. So all that being said, it still made 392 wheel horsepower and 381 torque, a really linear power curve between horsepower and torque, and it still was making horsepower over 6,000 RPM, and on track I shifted 6,100, but I could still wind this thing out to 6,500 if I wanted to. So for me, and I feel like a lot of other track enthusiasts who like LS engines, this is the perfect cam for you. So all in all, I'm super happy with those power numbers. Considering C5 Corvettes usually make 290 to 300 horsepower on a Mustang dyno, picking up about 100 horsepower with this cam is a pretty good gain. I feel like on a dyno jet, it probably would have made 430 wheel and 420 torque if you count into that 10% that we talked about before. But either way, I love the power curve. It's totally linear, and I'm still gonna be able to wind the car out to 6,500 RPM while still keeping the cam reliable for hours upon hours of track use because it's less than 600ths lift. A lot of times when you're dealing with a camshaft that has over 600ths lift, it's great for higher horsepower, more than this cam makes, but you're gonna have less reliability when you're gonna be on track by winding the thing out all the time, and I don't really need the power up top like that. Most of the time when I'm coming out of turns, I'm 3,500 to 4,500 RPM, which is perfect for this. If you guys want this cam, you can get this cam today. Cam Motion will have it shipped to you in 5 days. I'm gonna put a link to it in the description below. Hopefully you guys will buy this cam and put it in your car. I think it also would work really well in a drift application where you get all that torque as well, and you can bang it off the limiter or however you wanna do it, or even a street car. I think the cam works great in a lot of different applications. If you don't really care about super high horsepower, it still makes good power. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, link in the description to this cam. You guys can get it through Cam Motion. It helps us out if you guys go ahead and buy it too. So if you want to support the channel, make sure you guys buy our cam. If this is the first time you're watching this, I have an entire video series on how I installed the cam and everything else that I did to this car already. There's like 20 episodes I have on the C5 Corvette. So make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're into these kind of videos. Thank you guys very much for watching. In the meantime, check these videos out that I already have ready to go.